here. Back
Yeah.
to Bloodbath Tactics.
Yeah.
You saw these cards. We're going to be talking a little bit about EC today, but first we have all four of us here today.
We got full couch, full house.
Full chair, full chair.
We always fill these chairs out ever so nicely. Welcome back. Who wasn't here last time? Fraser wasn't here last time. No, David wasn't here last time.
I think I was here.
I don't know what.
I wasn't here.
That's right. It was Death Guard
yeah,
last time. So
yeah.
David, welcome back.
Thank you.
I've been here more consistently, to my credit.
How you
You're good. You're
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
doing? So you missed the last couple ones. You were here away for 2 weeks. What were you doing? You had Wet Coast?
Don't ask him.
I had,
Don't ask.
I had Wet Coast, and I had sickness, the illness.
Mm.
Yes.
How did Wet Coast go? You had actually. That's a good point. You had a pretty sick run at Wet Coast.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing? I did.
Shut up, Fraser.
I had a good time at Wet Coast up until round 6, and then I was undefeated. So I played for the top table.
Yeah, you
That
did,
was fun.
Yeah, 5-0.
5-0 up until round 6.
That's
But,
fine. And you
it was
lost
good.
to the winner.
I lost to the second place
Right.
undefeated. Yep.
Orcs won it, didn't it?
The Borks did win
Yeah.
it.
Was that Tactical Brigade or?
Isn't it
no, it was
Warhorde?
Warhorde.
Warhorde.
Wow.
Yeah, Warhorde's been
Really
doing really
interesting. Yeah.
How was the tournament?
Really well run, well put together. Tables were really consistent. Everybody was great. I don't think there was any drama in a 160-person tournament.
Damn.
160 players.
It was pretty clean. Yeah. Yep. And
big one.
all three of the Calgary boys did pretty good.
Yeah, that's right.
Adam, Matthew Sector.
Yes, and
And
myself.
yourself. That was it from Calgary. Hey, yeah, that's right. Sweet. Well, congratulations on the good run.
Yeah, thank you.
That was with Grey Knights, right?
I won Best Space Marines also. So that
Wait, weren't you
Grey Knights
playing-
count. Grey Knights count Space
That
Marines.
they just rolled it into.
Oh, they're Space
I
Marines.
don't, they don't exist.
They are Space Marines, technically. Yeah, right. If you found out about them, if we found out about them, we're dead.
Yeah.
We're mega dead. Yeah.
So best Space Marines are like, yeah, we're Space Marines.
Yeah, totally Space
Now,
Marines.
Imperial.
Well, that's a lot of some heresy going on. Calm down.
How you been, Fraser?
I've been good. Things have been busy. I've been playing not a lot of 40K. I had I have like the league game, but that's about it between tournaments for me right now. I'm a busy boy, but I'm excited for all the chaos good stuff because I have basically like nothing but chaos armies in like Eldar. So I'm getting a lot of like new rules. Like I even have, as I said, like Death Guard, obviously World Leaders, and Emperor's Children. So I'm
Wow.
excited to kind of get everything going.
Yeah, and you've been kind of diving deep. I guess between all the codexes and the chaos ones that came out, you've been leaning a lot towards Emperor's Children. You felt a little schlubbed off of your World Leaders there.
Mm.
I think World Leaders I think they're decent. They're just not how I like to play the game.
Okay.
They're very like reactive and stagey, which is good. But there's not a lot of like precision, and it comes from just kind of like meeting somebody in the middle and like the general fight off of like primary. But I like a lot of like really fast move blocking, engaging somebody like in their deployment zone, like if I have to, and having like lots of options. Whereas World Leaders is a lot more, I feel like, clunky. But the World Leaders rules are like they're pretty good because like even though you can't move as far with some of your units, a lot of the fight is still happening in the mid board.
They lost their advanced charge, but they got, some of them got,
Well,
blow up with data sheets.
yeah, well, Berserkers still have advance and charge in Berserker Warband.
Okay.
So they still have the full movement, and they went up to
8-inch
8-inch base. So coming out of a Rhino, they'll be like basically moving like 17 max, like 8-pounder.
Right.
But it's just like you don't have the same like options of movement that you had before. Like 8-pounder just down to like basically 10 base now. Exalted are basically like dead. They don't really have much of a role anymore.
Really interesting.
Regular 8-pounder are cool. They still have like a nice volume of attacks. They're a little expensive, but for the role they fill in the army, you kind of need them. You're pretty high on Hellbrutes because Hellbrutes get to fight every time they're fought, and that with like the 6-inch like
Right.
pylon and consolidate is
Well,
technically
could be-
triple fight.
could
They
be
can
infinite
walk
fight.
through theoretically walk through an entire
Theoretically.
army.
Infinite fight, and with like you're saying, with a 6-inch consolidate and pylon, that becomes a lot easier
Yeah.
to kind of
and
bash into everybody.
They actually fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep going.
and then the biggest winners that I think everybody that you're not as hot on, but that I think everybody's pretty high on is Forge Fiends.
Forge Fiends, yeah.
Dude, yeah, they seem nuts.
Forge
They got a new
Fiends.
rapid fire rule, right?
Rapid fire, so 36, so 18 inches rapid fire, and if you're shooting at the closest target within 18 inches, you're re-rolling all hits. But they're hitting on 4s, but they do get, again, like rapid fire.
Yeah,
And they
that's great.
and they still have like blast. So if you're going into like a 5-man, like the average shots would be like basically 6 plus blast, which is 9 plus rapid fire, so 12 shots average.
For a
on,
world
on
leader
like
shooting?
on like a 5-man,
That's
and that's like
bonkers.
AP 3 damage.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so
it's
good.
like
Jesus.
I wouldn't.
Hazard though, too.
No.
No,
Oh, they're not.
and
I wouldn't
and
say
they're
I'm not-
150 points.
Yeah, they're really good. I wouldn't say I'm not hot on them. I just don't want to run them. It seems illegal.
it feels wrong.
Everybody on World Leaders right now is like their list starts like triple Forge Fiend.
Sure.
Some people are going double, but
People were.
Probably where you want to be, hey?
I personally
mean,
go
for
single,
sure.
but
I
definitely one at least, at the very least.
I
It starts some initiation, right? It starts
Yeah.
something.
the list that I have is in like Warband, and I brought 2 Berserker bricks in Rhinos. Like one of them does not have a character, and one of them has Karn, because Karn's really good as well. But I feel like if you just kept like the 1 Berserker brick, because I wanted 2 units that could advance the charge, but if you just kept the 1, then you're gonna want like triple Forge Fiend to run like an optimal list. But I'm sad they killed Angron, because like my buddy Morgan did such a good job of painting my Angron.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
Yeah,
well,
he'll get-
if he was down like 60 Jinx
Hey, there you go.
points from what he was,
Hey,
then
consensus.
it would be like pretty decent.
I
but
could see that happening.
It's
'Cause
also
he's
a
at what
lot
now,
more
sorry?
reliable getting the 3/6s.
because you get more dice
Right.
now.
You get way more dice.
Oh, okay. And sorry, what's Angron at now, points wise?
385.
Yeah, 385.
Yeah.
What's Morty at?
Oh, did he go up? Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So he's kind of busted now.
You
So
can actually technically have 400. But you haven't seen this.
right.
And the codex is 400.
He's so good.
Okay, sweet.
There's
So yeah,
options
world
of-
leaders.
But yeah, I think a 8-bound needs to come down a bit, and there'll be a couple adjustments to make World Leaders more like generally like user friendly. But they're pretty decent. They just play differently, and their Emperor's Children have a lot more flexibility and mobility like World Leaders like used to. And I like kind of like the scalpel play style.
Sure.
And there's a lot of armies that, especially like with the triple winged princes, they are way too cheap for what they do.
Yeah, okay, so on that note, on stat check, they're at what, 60-70% win rate
Last weekend, yep.
from last weekend. And they won 3 events.
Yep.
And how big are these events? No, they're not RTTs. They're GTs.
These were pretty big ones. Yeah, they were 50 plus, all of them. I think.
Well, some of them were in like the 40 range.
Were they okay?
They weren't like majors, but they were still like they weren't just like small like 3-round events like,
Gotcha.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, proper GTs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and 3 came on top. Now they're all they're all the same detachments.
I think they were all Coterie. Yep.
Coterie?
Coterie of the Conceited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Define Coterie.
Oh yeah. What is a coterie?
I don't actually
Fraser?
know what Coterie means.
Isn't it just a group?
I know
Like
how-
a group of
I know-
coterie is like a posse.
I know
It's
how
like
to
a
spell
posse.
it.
It's like a group of people. Like
You're,
they're all
you're-
together.
You're the Google guy. Pull up Google.
Get in the comments.
What's that supposed to mean?
You're the
like-
stats guy.
Everybody get in the comments and tell us.
In the comments, let us know
I believe a coterie is just like a group of people with a like mind.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, wait, no,
It's
I
like
won't say
a
anything.
it's like a group. It's like a posse. It's like a club. It's the club of the conceited.
A small, intimate, and often exclusive group of people who share similar interests, tastes, or purposes. So it's like
It's a club.
So this is a coterie.
It's
like
like a,
a-
this is a coterie right
So it's
here.
basically just a group of like dudes just like hanging out.
So
We-
it's
we are
Coterie
the
of
coterie of the
Excess,
conceited,
right?
actually.
Coterie of the Conceited.
Of Conceited.
Yeah, what's conceited?
It's a bunch of Frasers.
Bunch of
Bunch of
Frasers.
Coterie,
Sweet.
yep.
So yeah, we're definitely faction focus.
Don't ever touch me again.
Emperor's Children. It's calm down on the couch, all right? I know we're doing Emperor's Children, but don't get handsy yet, all right? Wait until
Sorry,
whatever
sorry,
10 minutes
sorry.
into the episode.
I'm holding the codex.
Production
It's just
says
making
we
me
can get
feel
handsy
all
after
sorts
10
of
minutes.
things.
So we are going to talk Emperor's Children. They're the new hotness on the block. The servants of Slanesh, the goddess of like excess and all that pleasure and all that that wonderful stuff.
Bunch of freaks.
Bunch of goddamn freaks.
It's all pleasures, though. Like even pain.
Well, everything to the extreme.
People in the noise community, they want to feel
Right.
the pain of all the music.
The sound and your eardrums exploding.
Yeah.
Sick. Sweet. So why don't we start again, as we usually do with faction focuses? Let's start very broad. We're not going to get, I think, too crunchy into data sheets and detachments. We're probably going to highlight now that we've sat with the army for a little bit now, we're going to highlight a specific list that's doing very well, why it's doing well, what detachment's doing well. But let's just start, because I think this is a really good thing to drill down on, because people are going to be playing it on the table very soon and playing against it on the table very soon. And the army rule is probably the most intricate, complicated piece of the equation. So why don't you give us a
So
primer on
I'll
that?
read the exact wording, and then I'll kind of explain what
Sure.
it means. So basically, if your army faction is Emperor's Children, this unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced or fell back, but when doing so, it cannot target a unit it was within engagement range at the start of the turn. So basically, if you fall back from something, the unit that fell back cannot recharge or shoot the unit that it just fell back from, specifically.
Right.
Or it cannot target a unit that was the target of another unit's charge or attack this phase. So basically, as soon as you advance or fall back, you kind of get put into this pool of the army rule. Right. And if something, even if something that didn't advance or fell back shot something, now this pool is not eligible to shoot that.
Okay.
But it's phase locked. So even though something shot it, as soon as the shooting phase is done and you go into the charge phase, they can still charge unless something else has charged it. Then the units in that pool that fell back or advanced cannot charge the same target. So basically the purpose of the army rule is like the army's like splitting up and all the units are like dealing with things like by themselves.
I think that's a very good way to put it, right? So if you have fallen back in your movement phase, obviously, you become in like this special category of units. Or advanced, sorry, yeah. So fell back or advanced. You get into this special category that is now restricted. So it's going to be a very interesting kind of shell game of like, I fell back this and this, but I don't want to shoot this target because I'm going to go shooting at this target later, right?
Weapons at all, or?
Well, they have advanced shoot, like army-wide.
Right.
Okay, right, but...
Right, so advance and charge, advance and shoot, army-wide with these conditions.
Right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is they have like a generic assault weapon. It's something to consider where like I'm going to advance with this assault weapon, but I can't shoot something that another thing shot at, right? Like,
but
even though they have assault weapons and you're
but they would technically like all get assault because of the army rule. So because they all get like souped into the same thing. So as soon as you activate like one of the two movements, like advancing or falling back, you like immediately throw that unit into the pool. And basically what that means is you're going to want to activate with all your units that are in that pool and consider that before considering the other units on the board. And it's definitely going to be I think it's probably like it's a hard army to play. But if you know how to play it like properly, you'll do really, really well defense because it has really, really good support and hyper mobility in this game will like always be good. So yeah, you always want to consider the units that are in that pool and then deal with the other stuff that's like unrestricted.
Right, because they don't care. Right. Yeah, you always start with your most kind of limited options typically, and then go to the more broad options. Right.
Yep. It's a big like movement phase army, which is like my favorite.
Yeah, that's your Jimmy Jam. Hey. Yeah, Eldar and World Eaters, very squarely movement phase.
Yeah,
armies.
I only play Eldar because of the movement. No other reason.
The movement outside of your own movement phase. Is
dude, I just like the Yanari lore so much.
Yeah, of course
that's why I'm playing them right now.
You like Yanari.
Don't ask me anything
name
apart from their
three
names.
characters they have.
Name all Yanari.
Name every single
Steven,
one.
Bob.
Their
name's Steven.
Or like at least,
I
guess your list is pretty similar to. It's pretty broad.
Yeah. So basically, John Lennon won the Streamhouse RTT with a double prince list. So basically, what he had was two winged princes, which we'll get into afterwards. They are unbelievably good. One of them had the enhancement where on the leadership text it stands back up with D6 wounds remaining. And the other one has the enhancement where I believe it's once per turn, not even battle round. You can turn a hit, wound, or saving throw to a 6. So if a Melta sneaks through on like your minus damage prince, you go oops.
Sure.
Or if you're into like a high like toughness target, you can like flip to a 6 and like help like save the unit or kill the unit, I guess. And then he had triple exaltants, which are basically like your lords. They go in infractor squads, and it's a really cool combo because infractors reroll all wounds on stuff on objectives, and Coterie has a 1 CP stratagem to reroll all hits, and the Lord gives the entire squad lethal.
Right.
And the Lord himself, I have his data sheet right here. Basically, like his buff is he gets +3 attacks and then +1 AP on all his weapons. So he has a lance, which is obviously what you take, which is going to be 5 attacks or 8 attacks if you pop it. Strength 7, AP 2, AP 3 if you pop it. 2 damage with like lance.
Okay.
So it's a lot of attacks high AP, and then the volume with all the other stuff, like not even including like the Coterie buffs, rerolling like all your hits.
Yep.
It adds up, and obviously they're all in rhinos with advance and charge and all the good stuff. I don't think I'm missing anything.
Just real quick before we continue, just for people who may not be familiar with the individual names of these units, this is a full melee unit, effectively, that you're talking about here, right?
Yeah,
Infractors?
yeah. So in Infractors, there's two types of battle lines. So all of them have precision. Infractors are
interesting.
Infractors are
Yeah.
your melee squad,
Got
and
it.
they have scout.
Right.
Okay.
Beautiful.
And they have all melee weapons. Tormentors have infiltrate and sticky objectives, and they have a mix like guns, plasma pistols,
Sure.
and they have precision as well.
But basically just Space Marine bodies.
Just Space
For
Marine
these
bodies.
guys? Yeah,
Yep.
gotcha, cool.
But obviously access to advanced charge and
Right.
a rhino,
Right,
and they
right.
have 7-inch move.
Cool.
And
they're
they
fast,
add,
yeah.
like so a lot of your big killy bricks, aside from worrying about like either double or triple prints, are like the exalted and infractor bricks. Like they do
Understood.
a lot of the heavy lifting in the army, and they're
Yeah.
going to be your big stuff
They're the
killers.
bulk of your force, right?
Yep. And then apart from that, Lucius is in pretty much every list just because he's like unbelievably good.
Can we talk about Lucius for a quick sec before you get into like his attacks and his abilities and stuff? Spoiler alert: no comeback mechanic for Lucius.
Yep.
What happened? What happened there?
I don't know. He's just got to feel no pain now.
Which is not the same.
Well,
What-
he's got.
like-
If he came back when you have fights first and low nop and all the rules he had, he'd have to be like pretty damn expensive.
Sure, but that seems like such a
I know it's what he.
that's
It's
his
what he
whole thing.
does in the lore.
That's like his
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And Lucius is like a fan favorite. He's not like some random. Well, loves to hate him. Maybe that's more accurate. Do we hate Lucius? I thought people talk about him all the time.
well-
I assume.
No, he's kind of cool.
There you go. Dave's on
Yeah,
board.
the horse
The-
heresy books, he was cool.
The nice thing is if you're playing,
Slap him in the face and put him to the ground, saying "Stop talking."
Oh shit.
if you're playing,
Does he get
if
slapped
you're
around?
playing a narrative player who doesn't know all the competitive rules, you could be
Right.
like, oh, like Lucius totally is a comeback mechanic, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
He
Then you
should.
just do it anyway.
I
Yeah.
think he just comes back after the game ends.
I think, thankfully, they didn't do like whatever your crazy suggestion was. Like after he kills a character or a
It, like,
character kills them, we
slowly
roll.
turns.
The character kills him.
Yeah.
Every round after they have to do a battle shock test, and they fail. He comes back.
You did a
Just Angron turning into
you're starting to-
Lucius.
It has to be something where like he takes mortal wounds until that thing's back, and once it's dead,
He's starting to sound like an
GW,
Eldar
please
rules writer.
do not ever
Yeah,
hire
right.
Cass. Yeah. He wrote the Death Guard Codex.
Oh, I knew
Yeah.
it. Knew
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So he has a 5 field of pain. He obviously can be alluded to Flawless Blades,
Okay,
which
cool.
most of the time I think you're kind of running him solo.
Well, if Flawless Blades, because he loses fight first if he's in a squad.
Oh,
So
interesting.
if Flawless Blades were better for their points, they have an anti everything 3-up,
That's
and
the one.
that
Gotcha.
when
Right.
they activate that, it actually goes into Lucius as well.
Oh, because
So
for
Flaw-
the
a
unit.
3 squad of Flawless Blades and Lucius are killing like big knights, like
Sure,
light
sure.
work.
Yeah.
But Flawless Blades right now are they each have like 3 attacks each, and even though it's like anti everything, you're paying like I forget, is it like either I think it's 110 points. Yeah,
For
terrible,
3 damage?
2 damage.
2 damage, yeah.
Yeah, 3 attacks, 2 damage, and the regular bot like 3
Yeah.
up, 5 up.
Just not enough, right?
Yeah, it's just it's not where you want like a new model to be. Like they don't have like the same impact that like 8-bound had on the game.
Right,
And then
sure.
all the competitive lists just like aren't really spending points on them.
Gotcha.
So you're not gonna be he's not gonna be leading.
Yeah.
So he has Lona,
Yeah.
right? And then he also now he keeps fight first because he's not leading too. So it just seems optimal just to be running him solo.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, you play him like you do a lot of other fights first units. I've seen him, what I've seen so far at least, is he's played kind of like defensively until you can actually have a go turn. You put him like within heroic intervention range of your other stuff that might be charged in a melee matchup, right? So that you've got the heroic with the fights first, and all of a sudden that big brick is not so scary anymore when it smashes into your other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Lucius the Eternal.
We got that. Now it's just the characters there.
There's a Lord Cacophonist as well, which is basically like a super cheap like 6 wound, like 60 point.
He's 6 wounds.
Yep, 6 wounds, T5, 2 up, 4 up. He's got 2 pistols, and yeah, he's just really good. He gives Noise Marines sustained, which is okay,
Ooh,
but you
nice.
just kind of run him separately, and
Oh,
then
okay.
he's like just does like actions and stuff.
How many? Because he's cheap.
He's,
'Cause he's cheap.
60 points, dude.
Oh, nice for 6 wounds, 2 up, 4 up. That's great.
I don't think he's
Probably not, but that's a great for 60 points.
for a 2-up, 4-up
With
character.
6 friggin' wounds.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, and
really
he's got double pistols as well, or you could take him like with a sword.
does he have
so
double
basically,
pistols?
have 6 shots on 2 up, 5, 1, 2 profile. Ignore
Don't you have
cover.
to- when you select
This
shooting,
is melee.
What are the guns called?
Screamer pistols, basically like the Noise Marine pistols.
512. Wow.
6
don't you
shots.
have don't you have to select
cover.
a pistol when you shoot though? You can't shoot both pistols.
Yeah, you can. You can shoot all your
When
weapons
you
have.
select a model for shooting or a unit for shooting,
So-
you choose either their weapons or pistols or something like that, don't you?
Yeah,
But you can
if
shoot all
you have
pistols.
more than one pistol, you can shoot.
You can
all
shoot all
your
pistols.
Because
Basically,
there's that
got
one
it.
guy. There's like 6 pistols.
Cypher.
In like CSM.
Cypher.
Cypher, but it's all the same pistol
He
profile.
did like 11, like the last
Oh, no,
Alberta
maybe it
Classic
is.
final. He did like 11 wounds to Angron out of nowhere. It's like
Okay,
a
maybe that's what
melted-
it was. I think you're right, David. It's like you either choose like your shooting weapons or your pistols. So if you have multiple pistols.
Vehicle keyword, you can't shoot.
Exactly.
So that's why
Oh, is there-
Mortari could shoot his pistol and
Oh,
Yep.
shoot other stuff.
what kind of monster has a pistol? That's weird. Why does Mortarion have a pistol? Which one's the pistol? Is it the lantern?
Yeah.
The lantern's a pistol. That's funny. I had no idea.
One
Cool.
shot, sustained.
Does it still do damage to everybody on the way
Damn.
there? Oh,
No.
those are the glory days. That was sick. Yeah.
Sweet. No, sustained D3, and it happens when it happens. And it's
That's right. Okay, that's the Lord Cacophonist.
Yep, cacophonist. And then there's
Cacophonist. Cacophonist?
Close enough.
Because it's a cacophony, right?
and then there's
Cacophony? It's production? Cacophony? Yeah, all right. I said it wrong.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
and then there's 3 squads of infractors that are going with your lords. 2 squads of tormentors. So one of them is normally starting in the midboard, like infiltrating and
Right.
sticky, and one of them starting in your home.
So real quick, so of the 2 battle line options, one has infiltrate, one has scout. Is that right?
One is infiltrate, one is scout.
Wow.
The scout one obviously goes in rhinos, so all your rhinos are
Right.
scouting.
Yep.
Is the melee one, and the infiltrate one is the shooty one.
That's cool. That's really cool.
and
So
the
much-
infiltrate
like,
has sticky as well.
so much forward pressure. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's super cool.
No, it's a super
I
high
didn't
like,
actually realize
pressure
that.
army.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So does it get scout and infiltrate, or just?
No, one has one has
scout,
other.
one has infiltrate, and the one with infiltrate gets sticky.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, and then
That's really good.
John London had triple rhino, and then 3 squads of noise marines.
And the rhinos, so obviously they don't heal anymore. What do they do?
Basically, after the rhino makes an advance move, stuff is still eligible to disembark, and the stuff that disembarks does not count as making like an advance move. So it's not putting itself into that pool. So it's like one of your eligible units to do like basically anything,
interesting.
So it's
except
for-
obviously charge.
It's for your noise marines.
It's for your noise marines.
Right.
Although
Yeah, so
the
advanced
rhinos
disembark.
turn into like discount predators, so all the rhinos scout up, and then then you hop the noise marines into them, and then they can move and do whatever. And then there's just the 2 blast masters in each noise marine squad that just they have a really good like scatter profile for killing chaff. And then obviously like each of them has like 3 shots, strength 10, AP 2, like 3 damage. For
And
like,
the
other
blast
stuff.
masters aren't a character ad. They're just the sergeant of the unit, effectively, with a better gun.
Not even the sergeant. Like 2 regular dudes get a blast master. Yeah,
Oh, really? Interesting. Cool.
yeah.
2 regular guys in a 5-man unit?
In a 6-man unit.
In a 6-man unit.
6-man for 135 points.
That's a steal of a deal.
Yep.
How many wounds?
Just 2 wounds.
Just
each.
2, like,
they're
yeah,
havocs.
normal
They're just
dudes.
T5 as well.
So it's a 5-man with the character, or 6-man with the character?
It's-
6 man
it's-
with a character.
there's no so with a character it will be 7-man.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Okay.
it's just like the unit itself is like 1 disharmonist and then 5 noise marines.
Interesting.
Huh. And then okay, good. And then 2 of those.
Yeah.
And then
So-
2 of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So you can
sergeant or
fit
whatever.
that unit in with. Do you just put that in the rhino? What do you start in the rhinos?
You want all the rhinos. You have to have access to scout. So
Yep.
so just the infractors. Just the infractors.
And noise
Not.
No, the
No,
the
not
noise
noise
marines
marines.
will start in terrain because they take scout away because they don't
Correct.
have scout. So they
Yeah,
would take
yeah.
scout away. So they'll start in like terrain and then they can hop in the rhino and do whatever they like before the rhino moves.
That's right.
And then so it's like extra mobility to do like whatever on the board and get all the angles you need to.
Could the rhino just move and then you move into the noise marines too? Just hang out.
If you're
Yeah.
not too far away, but yeah, at that point, because you're scouting with that and then going.
Well,
but yeah,
well,
the noise marines are like chasing behind, trying to jump in the rhino.
Yeah, yeah.
So the infractors are 5.
5-man. Yeah.
There's
With-
7. So then you could scout and just move right away into the rhino and just hang out.
The infractors don't
Oh,
have a character.
right.
The rhinos will be a 6. Sorry, the infractors will be a 6-man because they have the character with them. So that's why the
That's why
cacophony.
you can't do it.
Well, so because the rhino capacity is 12.
Yeah, I know,
Right,
I was
right.
Doing, I thought it was 5 and 7, but it's 6 and 7.
It's 6 and 6.
The noise marines don't have a kid. Don't the noise marines?
The cacophonist goes separate. So there's 5 disharmonists.
Right.
Sorry. There's 1 disharmonist and then 5 like regular noise marines.
Oh, so you can jump them all in.
Yep.
Got it,
Yep.
got it.
Yep. Yep.
But you just
Got
don't
it.
start him in.
Right.
You jump
So they have access to scout. Yep.
Right.
Basically.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And then he also brings a spawn in his list. But since then,
They have a reactive.
the spawn do have a reactive. Spawn in general are really good in chaos right now.
Cool.
I guess they weren't selling enough old Spawn models because they're
those ugly old
they don't
Spawn
look great.
models. Oh, I have the other ones for you, by the way. I have the
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
the not ugly ones. Here you go.
Spawn mods, you don't know?
I did have a World Eaters list that I was kind of army I was working on, and then do you want my World Eaters spawn? I don't think so. Anyway,
Leave him alone. Leave me alone.
He already called dibs. It's fine.
But basically, everybody basically played a few games, and a lot of people are like, "Hey, these princes are really point efficient for what they do." So basically, a lot of them took like John Lennon's list, which is also very similar to like Alexander, like Sacco's list, who's like an international player, like overseas, and they basically just modified it to put 3 princes in it. So basically, you add in. You take off the enhancement to like flip to a 6, and you add in another prince, and then you take out 1 rhino, and you take out the spawn.
Okay.
And then that's enough points to fit a 3rd prince in there, and 3 princes for some armies that are 2 damage specifically is a nightmare. Custodes hate it. Bile, like John Lennon on the stream,
World
gave into Bile,
Eaters.
just ran it into like 8 bound cannot kill.
Right, and I know we're not going to get into super detailed on data sheets, but why are the Demon Princes specifically so good?
So Coterie Princes. So the Demon Prince data sheet, the Winged Demon Prince data sheet is very undercosted for what it does, and then Coterie like just jams it up to the max. So basically, Coterie's the detachment, the one that's everybody's been playing. Basically, these princes, their 2 rules are they're -1 damage. And then whenever they charge something, they roll 1 dice for every wound that they have remaining, and every 4-up's a mortal. So from full 10 wounds, average 5 mortals every time they charge. So you could charge in like if your princes aren't advancing, it's not unreasonable to think that you're going to charge like 2 princes into the same thing and do average like 10 mortals before they even like attack or do anything. And then that being like -1 damage on top of that, 14-inch move with like access to the advance and charge, and then they just have like a really good. It's just like general like anti-elite infantry like sword, which has like a strike and a sweep.
Yeah, if it can do okay damage against like lighter vehicles, they're probably not flipping any big ones.
Not until Coterie gets going.
Not until Coterie gets going.
Right.
Get the sustained and lethal and everything else. But you're not really killing any big vehicles, but you're gonna kill any elite infantry, any
Yeah, what's the damage on its strike?
It's AP 2-2 or AP 2-3.
10-2-3.
Yeah.
10-2-3. Yeah, 3 is a nice number.
10.
8.
Oh, is it? It's 8-2-3?
It's 8-2-3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it could do like some damage to light vehicles.
Right. And yeah, sorry, you mentioned Coterie makes it pop off. Real quick on Coterie the Conceited, it's the one where you, where you call your shots at the beginning of the battle round. If you get that many kills, you basically get buffs as the game goes on.
Yeah. So basically, at the beginning of the battle round, you declare, "I'm going to kill this many units this turn."
Yep.
And if you do that, then you get that many points towards your total.
Right.
And if you don't do that, then you don't get any points, and your like warlord takes D3 mortal wounds.
And who's the warlord in that list?
I actually have played around with it a little. Like Lucius is a feel no pain.
I was gonna say, wouldn't you just automatically make it him?
Theoretically, yeah. But you also have, if you really didn't want to take mortals, this is again why the princes are really good. In any phase after a mortal wound or attack is allocated to a model in an Emperor's Children unit from your army, you can activate 4-up feel no pain against mortals, and it gives you a 6-up feel no pain generally as well for like 1 CP. So like for example, if you're going into Bile and they pop like Dev, then you just say, okay, 1 CP. Now all the Dev that goes through, I'm saving on like 4-ups. And they also have an AOC strat, and they're a 2-up, 4-up. So it's like if you're AP like -1 or -2, they're just like living through a lot more than they should.
But you also want as many wounds on your Demon Princes as possible because you want those charge mortals. So it doesn't. Is there any? Say in Coterie, if your warlord dies, does anything get turned off, or it's just
you just don't get to declare?
Oh, you get no more called shots.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a big deal. Actually, that is a big deal. But you just play if you do it.
Yeah.
But the buffs you've earned are still there. You just can't.
So the buffs are if your number. So at the end of the battle round, it sees how many you've killed, and then you get your buffs like for the battle rounds after that. So if your number's 1, then you're rerolling all hit rolls of 1.
Okay.
If your number is 3 or higher, then you're also rerolling all wound rolls of 1. If your number is 5 or higher, then everything in your army is sustained lethal.
Ooh.
And if your number is 7 or higher, everything is sustained lethal and critical 5s. And with the strat to reroll all hits, it adds up really fast.
Doubt, hey?
You just as soon as you get sustained lethal anyway, because your stuff like can't really punch up, you go fishing for 6s.
So I'm so sorry. What was the number that you need to get for sustained lethal and everything?
So 1 is hits, 3 is wounds, 5 is sustained lethal.
Got it.
And then 7 is the big
crits on 5. So just so I understand how this mechanic works, you need to call in one battle round. You need to call 5 and then get 5.
No.
Or you call your shots. It does cumulate. Okay, it
Yeah.
does cumulate. You can call 1 and get 1, and then call 2 and then get 2, and you'll be at 3.
Yeah,
Understood.
And
Got it.
Coterie also has basically a 1 CP strat where at the end of the battle round, you can increase. Oh, sorry. In the shooting or fight phase, after you destroyed a unit, you can increase your pledge by 1 for 1 CP.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
you could declare 0 if you really want to be safe, and then bump it up to 1 anyway.
Got it.
If you kill something.
Yeah.
Right.
So the lethal and sustained is only in combat, correct?
Melee weapons equipped by models in this unit have lethal and sustained 1.
Yeah.
So the crit on 5s, that's any phase, correct?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the last
take
one.
your Lord Cacophonous in a Noise Marine squad. Suddenly the Blast Masters pop off, sustain on 5s.
Yeah. He just doesn't really have that's happening after 7 kills.
I was gonna say,
and he
at
has
what
so
point
much
in the game?
utility for scoring for just 60 points.
Sure. Yeah.
That
How
it's
do you have 7 kills? Aren't you already winning?
but by the time you're at 7 kills,
Yeah.
you're already doing really well, and all your units are punching up really hard.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's really no benefit to the last 2 coterie bonuses for your shooting. It's really mostly melee.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And how's
Yeah.
the melee for everyone else? Besides Demon Prince, he does okay.
Well, the infractor squads, as I mentioned, were good. They can punch up because they have lethal, and you can give them full rerolls to hit. And if somebody's on an objective, full rerolls to wound. And they just have a bunch of basically chain swords, but the main dude with the lance and all the extra attacks, just being 8 attacks, strength 7 with lance, AP -3, 2 damage on your go turn is it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
And everything has advance and charge, so you're move blocking the hell out of everything, and you can't get stuck because you can just fall back and charge and move all over the
Right.
place. And then Demon Princes, charge mortals can free up a lot of stuff as well, and leads for if stuff's half wounds or almost dead, you can literally just charge and then just pile into something else and fight. As long as your mortals are
Fall back and fall back, shoot and charge, or advance and charge. Fall back and charge on the entire army is kind of wild. There is obviously hoops. There's things you have to jump around, but just being able to
It's very
reset every turn.
Well, people didn't really know how strong, because everybody Emperor's Children was coming out and everybody said it was going to be kind of whatever, and now it's good players take that amount of mobility and they just run with it.
For sure, it definitely is one of those rules and one of those factions that's going to take reps to get used to, because it plays weird. It's janky, right?
No, basically only when he stands back up with D6 wins for
Right,
the
right.
1 enhancement.
But
Yeah.
but in your improved list, you took out that enhancement to get a 3rd demon.
No, I
out
kept
the
I
flip
kept
to
that
6.
enhancement. I took out the flip to a 6.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
yep, yeah. So it's Emperor's Children
Even
is
him as your warlord, then just in case, right?
you could yep.
Oh, that's a good point.
But
Yeah,
you're
'cause they come
you're
back.
playing very conservatively with
Your warlord.
all of everything, because you don't want to over, and the best way to play against Coterie is probably to just not allow a pledge turn 1, so they not getting their buffs until round 3. But if you try to hold it out longer than that, then you're just not going to be scoring points. So you have to play the same with World Leaders. I have right now I have in obviously the index, I have a ton of range of mobility. Right, you have to come and play the game at some point, but it's just don't give it to me right away, and then so the Coterie buffs aren't coming in until round 3, and then you can start playing ball with stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Yeah, is we're gonna be seeing Emperor's Children on tables right away, ASAP, especially because they're doing so well and everybody's excited. New faction, the hype's real.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on it real quick. You don't want to let them get their pledges quick. So what is the counter play? It's don't let them get their pledges quick. With advance and charge all over the place, they're gonna kind of dictate the speed of the game, right? Especially not very few armies, I should say, are that fast.
Yeah, it's tricky because of their movement. Basically, units are getting out of the Rhino and they're moving 16 inches, and they've already scouted 6, so they're moving 22.
Yeah.
So if they really wanted to, their units are like 2 inches from your deployment zone if it's 24 inches away.
Yep.
And on top of that, they have all of the infiltrate and stuff. So it's tricky, but just try not to give up cheap units right away, because like there's not a ton of units in Emperor's Children.
Sure.
So if they're overextending like that in the first turn just to get their buffs, take it. That's fine.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It feels like they would be very, very good. Emperor's Children would be very, very good into like these MSU armies we're seeing a lot of.
Yep. And it's like very well, because especially even with the charge models, they can just like deal with stuff.
Sure.
But it's the same way to deal with like World Leaders players like currently. It's like some people like the biggest thing about playing this style army is like patience and knowing your movement and knowing like not being tempted by like just killing, and like knowing the value of scoring and being able to weigh the pros and cons of how much is this unit worth in like actual like battle points, and what am I willing to give it up for, and just kind of taking advantage of that, like especially like players like the mid table, offering them something. And because they have the mobility, just you don't want them to have a huge go turn, because they have the capability for that, and it's way more reliable than World Leaders used to be, because obviously you're rolling for advance and charge. But you just want to limit that as much as possible, and if they're feeding units, like that's usually pretty fine.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but if you can prevent the term 1 coterie buffs, so just be careful of what like cheap infiltrate squads you're putting out.
Yeah.
Because the tormentors that are going in the middle won't kill a lot. Maybe they precision out a character with like a meltagun and like a plasma pistol and a plasma gun. Like maybe they could deal with a character and like that's the unit they're getting. But like apart from that, like they're not doing a ton of damage. They're there to like score points. So it's as long as you can kind of like work around like the rhinos, the infractor squads, like term 1, you can usually prevent the coterie buffs from going off. And those are valuable pieces to Emperor's Children players. So if you're taking those in your term 1, like you're in great shape.
Okay.
Yep.
But I guess as the EC player, you'd be hiding them and like letting them kind of come out.
It also, because of Coterie being at the beginning of the battle round, it heavily depends on whether I go first or second. Because they have to declare at the beginning, and then you could change how you move your stuff based upon like basically like if you're going first against Coterie, you can see what they declare and then just like
and then alter
and then work around and like try not to give them that.
It's the same issue orcs had with the Wa, right? Was that because it was the top of the battle round? Okay, the orc is wawing. We're not fighting this turn. Yeah. Right? As best as you can handle, obviously.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it's just really good infantry, like really, really good like anti-infantry army. Yeah. And then once its buff get going, like everything can kill, like basically war dogs and
pops
stuff.
off,
like as it can deal with. But like basically against like knights, like the biggest thing you have to worry about is like Demon Princess slamming in, doing mortals, and then like melee maybe will kill a knight. Maybe. Yeah. It's like not super likely. Yeah. But the infractor squads are really good at what they do. And if you're on an objective, they reroll all wounds. Yeah. So the way to really limit the infractor squads is definitely to stay off of objectives with your valuable things.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been talking about Coterie of the Conceited.
Yep.
Are there any other detachments that you see that might be getting some play as well?
They're all like pretty good rules. Like some of them like are like reroll advances, like it just makes it more. But if you're playing like that style, then like Coterie realistically is just like the same thing, but like better, and it increased the output because you don't really need a lot of help with like movement in the army, just because you have so much already in your data sheets. But you do need help with his damage, and that's what Coterie solves. Another really popular detachment is Carnival of Excess. So basically, while an Emperor's Children unit is within 6 inches of a Legions of Excess unit, it's empowered, and then vice versa. While a unit for your army is empowered, weapons equipped by models in that unit have sustained 1. If such weapon already has that ability, it gets basically crit 5s.
Oh, nice.
So it helps buff it up quite a bit.
That's actually cool, because oftentimes when you have overlapping sustained or whatever, they don't really make an account for that. They're just they're just like, get fucked. Cool, get fucked.
Yeah,
that's cool.
But basically, it's like they've.
And this is the demon detachment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, they have a strat where they can pull up demonettes like at the end of the fight phase. And then when the demonettes come down, as long as they're within 9 inches of an Emperor's Children unit, they can deep strike 6 away.
Oh, cool.
So it's like the same thing as kind of like demons are doing.
Yep. With their shadow. Yep.
Just like -1 to hit, just general like regen demonettes. Like it's a cool way to play the army. I definitely do think the Coterie is better.
Sure, but the detachment, like you said, the detachment rule does improve your damage.
And
with
and for
right?
people that like their Slaanesh demons, unfortunately, I don't think it's the kind of support that you want to bring Keeper of Secrets, especially since they got their huge nerfs because Legion of Excess was just like ridiculous.
Just too good. Yeah, that's true. Hey.
But like a few squads of demonettes and
isn't Shalaxi still good? Shalaxi's no good anymore.
really.
She was. She kills everything she touches. How can she be bad?
She lost her feel.
She's a lot of points, and she's not very.
Lost her
durable.
feel no pain. Yeah, and then
she
just
stayed
dies.
the same points.
I just say the same.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Nerfed, and no points changed. So that makes sense.
She lose attacks.
It's not a Celestial Boy.
Losing the feel no pain is the worst.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
for
worst
sure.
thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right.
And actually, it's funny. They lost the feel no pain and gained an armor save. Like they used to be a 4-up armor.
Oh, 4-up.
So it's now a 3-up and lose your feel no pain.
Cool. Not a good trade. The worst trade in the history of trade deals.
Oh man, that's a downgrade.
Yeah, there's another like it basically just adds a bunch of movement for this
Okay.
detachment. So basically, regenning models, you can give yourself more movement. You can do a pile and consolidate 6.
Nice.
And also, so one of the more complicated stratagems is basically fight phase just after a Legions of Excess unit from your army destroys an enemy unit. That Legions of Excess unit and one friendly Emperor's Children unit within 6 inches of the Legions of Excess unit, and not within engagement range. That Emperor's Children unit can then declare a charge in the fight phase. If it does so and it's already been selected to fight, it cannot fight again. But if it has already thought, it can still like charge stuff and then just like sit there and like wrap it up. So it's basically like instead of like consolidating, it's like redeclare a charge against something.
Interesting.
Yep. So it
In the fight
it
phase,
bolsters a lot of movement, but I don't necessarily think that it's an army that needs help with movement.
Right. Yeah, as you said, they've got movement in spades. They just need more damage output.
Yeah.
More consistent output.
General list for this.
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, there was a really popular one online. It was on the Art of War podcast. I forget who the gentleman that was doing it with, like Alexander Sacco, like came on with, but it was like the same kind of bones as a coterie list, but it was basically just like a handful of squads of demonettes, and I can't remember if he bought like fiends or not as well. But like it was basically just like some of the smaller Slaanesh like mounted or infantry, on top of like basically like the good units in the codex that are really like point efficient. And they've kind of been like, world leaders have been shuttled into something similar where it's like, well, I guess it's most of 40k. You just see the data sheets that are good for their points, and you're like, I will put 3 of those.
Right, just do that. Yep.
Yeah, but honestly, Carnival XS just seems like a worse version of the like the world leaders like demon detachment.
Yeah, we won't go into the
that one
too much because that's
that one strat,
dude. The one
is bonkers.
Have you seen that at all? The one most busted strat ever.
So
Okay, the most busted strat ever was the WA for 1 CP.
This might be stronger
this
than
is
that. Actually,
close.
this might be stronger than that.
So basically,
Quick world leaders interlude.
So basically, as soon as you kill something, or something dies,
something dies.
and anything dies on the table,
Doesn't matter.
something
dies.
a bloodletter squad can then appear on the table within 9 inches from where that thing just died.
Yeah.
Not 9 inches away from enemy units, not 6 inches away from enemy units, just within.
I think you can't be in engagement. That's the only.
just within 9 inches
Yeah.
from where that thing just died.
Yeah. So the
You-
idea
you-
is you
you-
shoot something with a Forge Fiend, and then it's like 1 inch away. Yep.
Right outside.
Or
your
you
deployment
kill
zone.
something in your fight phase, or you charge something and do mortal wounds to it and kill it. Then all of a sudden,
Well, because you
That's really good.
You can kill some. You can kill something generally in the middle, and then 9 inches away, you
Yeah.
like line up your bloodletters, and then you just charge their like deployment zone.
yeah, you have a.
I'll tell you what WA does.
Okay, no,
I know.
Okay, we know. We
We
know.
what the wa- You have a screen. You have a cheap screen in front of your invaluable units behind it. They kill your screen, and then you put another screen in front of them. It's very, very strong.
How about you get move blocked?
Yeah, like that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, move blocked. Like you shoot their stuff, and then you put a screen in front of them.
Yeah.
It's like infinite uses. It's bonkers.
Yeah,
But anyway,
that's cool.
that's world.
Jack
Leaders.
Hopster made a pretty good list for that one too. We won't get
I
into that.
bet he
now.
did. I
Yeah.
bet he did.
Yeah, but it's been a chaotic few months. It's exciting. Everybody that has a Chaos Army is feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, no kidding. eh?
Thousand Suns are coming at some point. I think Knights are first. Though.
Yeah, we were just talking about that off camera for a second. That we for those who are paying attention, today is the 5th of May. Yeah, May 5th.
Revenge of the Fifth.
Yep, right, because it was May the 4th be with you yesterday, of course. Revenge of the Fifth. We're a bunch of nerds, man. We had, not to get off base with Emperor's Children, but we had Imperial Knights teaser, I guess, today. The new Knight Defender with a cool shield projector.
Stupid.
Something. David doesn't like.
Yeah.
David doesn't. Whoop whoop. Hot take alert. I don't think it's a hot take. I think all nice players are like.
In general, whatever David thinks is good is like horrible, and whatever David thinks is bad is
the
like
best.
broken good.
Like to be unique.
Yeah, he just wants to buck the trend.
Yeah.
So what do we think? A bondsman of a 4-up invuln?
That's the general consensus, is that he might even have a 4-up invuln, or he gives it out as a 4-up invuln. But the major point is we don't actually know where this codex is going to slot into the schedule, because we've now had a teaser for Thousand Suns. We've now had a teaser for Space Wolves. We've now had a teaser for Imperial Knights. So I assume the Thousand Suns codex will be next, because it's like the chaos should be all together.
You're being trolled in Dracarys.
They showed the new walkers, the new like shooty, the automaton,
the robots.
Yeah.
Emu Paragon Warseed.
Yeah, basically what those are.
There's a lot of people that hate those. Hey,
I'm in that.
I think the reason people hate it is because the design looks. You like it, Dave?
Yeah,
of course,
I do.
yeah, he does. He loves it. He's on brand.
Oh, yeah, you're going to T-Sense.
No, I just bought it. It was a good deal.
if they're good, he's conveniently gonna be like, oh, my brother didn't want them.
I think people hate.
Gonna run 2 sons.
I think people
I guarantee you.
They whatever they're called. I don't know what the unit's called. They don't look like a T-Suns model. I think that's the biggest thing. Even though T-Suns don't, because they're supposed to. Oh, that's actually good. That's a good name. Because they're not really Egyptian. They're kind of like
it's not.
bird-like but robot-like. Anyway, who knows? Who knows when we get the actual codex.
I think what's really funny is David's right now is on an army that if something is like anti-psychic, feel no pain, he gets dieseled, and he's picking up the other army in the game that also gets dieseled by that.
He's not picking up. He's a Knights player.
He just loves getting fisted by like custodies.
Yeah, I just love to feel bad.
David likes. That's the secret. That's the secret sauce. Before we get too far on off track on rumors and upcoming stuff, is there anything else you want to touch on Emperor's Children? Like, is there anything we missed? I think both we've got like good tips for people who are going to be playing them for sure. A good list, some good how the army mechanic works. Yeah, playing into them, I think we got some good tips. Anything else you think we might have missed out on?
In general, like it's hard to really give advice because, well, anytime somebody asks for like advice on playing an army, like you can basically tell somebody like how to set up, what to watch for. But I need to see like a specific like game state. Sure. It's just if you're playing against them, just try and make sure there's something in your list that can like deal with 3 princes, because getting stat check never feels good.
Well, why don't we go to that generic question? We got mission A, train layout 1. Mm-hmm. What would be your deployment?
Oh, you think you're that deep in the sauce already that you can do a deployment right now?
I could do that.
All right, let's see.
I could do that.
I like it.
Train layout 1. So just for the viewers at home, it has the 2 big L's in the center. We have a big L in the deployment zone, and then we also have a terrain piece that you can hide behind your units to run into an expansive. Yep. And that's generally it. And then there's also the tiny ones halfway through the board that you can kind of hide, but there is still a shooting lane right across the middle.
Yeah. So basically, what I would do is I would immediately one Demon Prince and 1 squad of Noise Marines up in the sky.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So because like a 14-inch advance and charge, like movement, threat, and ingress is disgusting.
And the Demon Princes have deep strike, I imagine.
They do, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But not the Noise Marines.
And the Noise Marines do not know. They will be ingressing, but it allows for like kind of like better angles on the board
for sure.
And then they need to be screened out, and you can kind of challenge like different. And even if you have to put them like back down in your deployment zone, cool. They're still gonna be able to shoot.
All good. Yep.
And then basically. Because like there's a 4-inch gap in between, so you do a Rhino like in between like the big L at the back right of your board, kind of ready to like scout into the middle. You do a Rhino down kind of like behind that like middle pyramid, like tucked in against that L. Just make sure that your opponent doesn't have like long range like anti-tank. Actually, if they did, you could just kind of scout backwards. So it doesn't really matter anyway.
Scouts,
and then kind of another Rhino like set up just adjacent to that, just so your Rhinos are immediately like challenging the midboard. Yep. So
isn't this the one with the 2 Rhinos? the list with the 2 rhinos and 3 demon princes?
Do you want me to do the?
No, do the 3 demon prints, 2 rhinos.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
the list you think is better.
Okay. So 1 rhino staged in
That's
the big
fine.
L, and then 1 rhino like beside.
Yeah.
And why I don't like putting a rhino like all the way on the far left is because then if you want to put the rhino on the objective, it's come all the way around. So I'd rather have it like staged in the middle, and then this one chill out a little longer.
cut up.
So this one still has access to the middle and potentially the expansive, but you're not getting like. Basically, you're not getting like shuttled by your rhino can still play the game, and it can reach for like containment and stuff.
Yep.
I'd put the cacophonous down in like the back left L to be able to do containment, or maybe set up.
The back left L is the home one.
No, it's the other the one by the expansive,
the middle one.
For you probably for containment. You could also make an argument for starting him up in the sky.
I see. Yeah.
To come down and do like behind enemy lines or.
Sure.
Help
Yeah,
with
'cause he's just a little
other secondaries,
tiny model, right?
But because you want to keep him around, you don't really want it to be like 1 turn use. He's really good for containment, really good for setting up sabotage, really good for assets, and you're not like spending like your other stuff.
Right.
And then the noise marines are going to start in the terrain itself, along with the infractor squads. The infractor squad is probably going to be in the front of the big L, so it can hop in, like it can scout and then hop in a rhino once 1 infractor squad already goes and does its thing. And the noise marines are going to be kind of like scattered beside it. In a spot where once the rhino scouts, they can like hop into it safely. You just want that extra mobility with the rhinos. And then Lucius is going to be staged again, probably down behind that like middle pyramid, kind of in this little building, like either around the corner or on the piece of terrain, depending on what your opponent's army looks like, just so he can go up and like be present in the midboard. Obviously, as like an intervention threat. And then 1 squad of infractors on your home to sticky it, and then 1 squad of infractors, probably. You could string them across the 5-man onto the middle and your expansive if you wanted to. Yeah, but it depends on like what army.
Would they be able to reach that with the 5-man?
With 5-man, yeah, you can.
Because they are 30 mil bases.
Yeah, 32.
32s, right? Sorry,
I've done it with Rangers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, you can string across there, and they're basically just a start like the forward pressure of okay, now you have to come and play ball, or you're going to be behind on primary.
Yeah,
like that's. Yeah, and then they just do like actions and stuff.
Yeah, do whatever.
And like, so what? They draw overwhelming force. Like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, okay, fine, you would kill this thing.
Yeah. Right. Cool.
Right?
You got it.
But then you kill that, and then what do you give up for that? Then you can just shoot off the board. And
Yeah.
Help your coterie, right? So.
Yeah.
You don't really care that it's actually sitting on the objective turn 1.
Yeah.
It's worth the gamble. Yeah. It sucks if they go first, but it's worth the gamble for sure.
Getting a sticky on that is just
Sticky both your objectives in turn.
Well,
1.
you have access to like AOC. Half the squad at least, maybe if not 80% of it's going to be like in cover. So they can't just. It's not just like trash.
Yeah, they're not guaranteed to kill it in 1 activation. Right?
Yeah,
for sure.
No.
Yeah, and depending on how you just pull accordingly, and maybe they don't kill it at all. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Smart. Yeah,
And then it's still a squad that can maybe set up for area denial or like whatever you need.
Cool.
So yeah, that would be like the generalist setup.
Plus, when you deploy in like that way as well, say the enemy has scouts, like they're not scouting up the center objective and sealing you.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, you're blocking out scouts and moving stuff like that.
Well, again, if somebody is coming up, then it's great for your coterie.
Right. You're like sick.
So people are wary. So
right, because you would do your coterie calls after scout moves. Right.
It would be at the beginning of the battle round. So yeah, it would happen.
Yeah, because scouts all happen before.
Yeah, because scouts are like before the game.
There you go.
But yeah, so if somebody's like offering you that stuff in the midboard anyway, that's how you get your buffs rolling. And I will absolutely give up an infractor squad to give my entire army reroll hits of 1 for the rest of the game.
100%.
Right. So it's yeah.
Wow.
That's generally how it plays. It immediately puts your opponent on the back foot, and that's why it's such a good army, because you have your home stickied, you have like the 2 in the middle, like immediately stickied, and then it's like, okay, now I have like a full melee army with like really good like anti-infantry, like range support. Let's see if you can deal with this. And then that's on top of like the princes, and then like Lucius chilling there. So it's actually like on paper it looks like a cool army, but like on the actual table, like I've watched like a few like high level players play it. And like the amount of move blocking you get with that much movement, and just like tagging stuff, like it's a very, very restrictive game to play against.
Makes me miserable.
Yeah.
Actually, interesting. So you're not going to have yours ready for the Edmonton Open, are you? June, was that 12, 13, 14, something like that?
It'll
probably not.
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
That'd
be fun, though.
I would really have liked them to be.
Yeah. But that's a
month
and 10 days ish. Probably not, right?
Yeah, because No.
No, there's been talk.
Yanari.
There was some conversation because we do have a new match play rules and book and box coming out. So there was some talk of whether that hits before Edmonton or during Tacoma, which I think is the one after Edmonton. I haven't heard one way or the other how that's going to go. But
it would be smarter GW to do it like if Edmonton's going to be the kind of start of their competitive season.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, hey, do it to us or whatever, but it would make a lot of sense for
do
them.
it to us.
This guy just wants a Yanari nerf.
Who doesn't?
I'm not saying points, I'm saying start the mission.
The new mission pack, yeah.
When you start your tournament season, start the mission pack. Keep it all.
It would make sense.
Fire Dragons at 140.
It won't happen. It's quite a steep learning curve to learn a new mission pack.
Sure it is.
But it has to get launched at some point. So one of the big GW like events is going to be the first one. Somebody has to be first.
LVO was the first for Gotmas.
Sure, LVO was for Grotmus. I don't really remember when Pariah Nexus got dropped. Where the layout, the big events.
Okay, it was before the last GameCon, but it wasn't live until like the Saturday after.
Well, then we're almost due for it. Just June again, basically.
Saying, like,
It's either going to be just before Edmonton or probably just after. So more than likely, I think Tacoma is the other big open that they're having.
It's either going to be before or after.
It did mean something.
But right in the middle.
It did mean something.
Yeah, but it could also happen during Edmonton.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yo, screw these guys. Get in the comments. Beat these guys up. That's fine.
Wait. Does David have to grow a beard or a mustache?
Oh, we forgot. Did we check the numbers? Cass, can we check the numbers quick? Yeah, you check while we chit chat.
Can you grow a mustache?
No.
we said beard, I think, actually, but
I'll grow my soul patch. How about that?
What the hell?
for those of you who may have missed the last episode, we David wasn't here, so we promised on his behalf, as good friends do, that if we get 7 members, which I signed up. Cass, did you sign up?
You guys don't count.
We did count because we said us,
Let me know if it's
us
a 6
two
and I'll
plus
sign up
5
right
more.
now.
If you'd watched the episode, David, you'd know. All right.
Let me know
said
if
if we
it's
get
at
7
5,
memberships,
I'll sign up on my burner account.
Sign up right now. If we get 7 memberships, that David has to grow a beard because we had the full beards crew on last time, and we were like, well, if you're gonna show up, you have to have a beard.
You got a haircut though.
Yeah, you got a haircut, looking slick.
Look like young Sheldon.
Did you have the wrong phone? What just happened?
But yeah, I think it's cool that we still got like more detachments to look forward to. They said they're going to drop those frequently now, and it adds a lot of spice
That's
to
true.
the game.
Yep, they said that with the data slate, they'll drop some amount of detachments.
Cool.
Actually, speaking of the Knights peaks, only 4 Knights detachments. That's kind of butts. That kind of feels real
Okay,
bad.
what the hell are you gonna do with like 7 detachments? By the 7th
Have
one,
a lot of fun,
By the
Fraser.
7th one, what rules are you gonna write in that detachment?
They should honestly just start rewriting detachments instead of putting out new ones.
Ooh.
The useless ones
That's
that no one plays.
a hot take, but I like it.
Yeah.
Boop, boop.
Give me like 4 good detachment rules in the next like 20 seconds.
Make Annihilation Legion Necrons great again, because I would love to play good Necron destroyers. That'd be sick.
Apparently, you need to hop on Phalanx or whatever that one is.
No, I disagree.
It's just been-
I entirely
It's pretty
disagree.
good.
I don't know how it's good. It doesn't make any sense.
We got 3 members.
We have 3 members, and 2 of them are us.
Let's keep.
2 of them are us.
Oh, so
Thank you, Ed. You're the man.
Ed,
Oh, fuck.
shout out to Ed.
That's
All
what's
right,
up.
we didn't. You're lucky, David. We didn't make it this time. Next time.
Could you imagine he comes back the next
time we'll get-
There was no timeline on when the 7
Oh,
members
that's
could be
true.
right.
That's true. Right, you didn't put a timeline on it, so you're on the clock, Dave.
You're gonna lose members if this ever, after like 3 weeks of
Well-
just looking at me.
You might have
We're
it
gonna
ready for
turn-
Movember.
That's a good idea, actually. We're gonna turn the tight shot into just a shot, like a close up of David's
The entire
face.
episode's gonna be David's face.
The thumbnail is David's face, everything, so we can see every little hair slowly grow out.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dave? Sound good?
My wife will leave me.
That's not that important. It's this podcast is more important.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was good. Anything else you guys want to go over, or how are we feeling? Do you guys have any questions? We are going to get, we did talk more about it. I know it's one of those things, but we are trying to get more battle reports going as well.
Get an Emperor's Children battle report now. There we go.
I think so.
In 2 months.
I think
when
we're.
I
I
have
think.
my army.
Well, I think we're definitely gonna do a battle report soon. I think because we want to do a Death Guard World Eaters battle report because we have.
Do you want to do that, or am I doing that?
We could do. You have a couple of options for
Oh,
World Eaters.
I'm
Actually,
Do
gonna
you want an
need
easy game or not?
Ooh, shots fired.
We should have.
We should talk about the league. It's
Yeah,
doing well.
It's been a minute since we talked about the league. So we are running the. It's okay. I'm on the same boat, Dave. We're on the same page. We've been running the Warhammer 40K Calgary Championship, and we are in round 4 right now. Yeah. We've got some big names in the local meta who have been absolutely tearing it up. Frazier did take a loss.
Shut up.
I
got stat checked.
The Man of Steel did get stat checked.
Well, I got stat checked on freaking Purge the Foe.
It was the nightmare scenario for
so
sure, 100%.
Bad.
Chaos Demons, Purge the Foe.
Yeah.
I was on like at least 3 objectives the whole game.
Sure.
4 for like 3 turns. And he was getting like 12. And I'm like, stop scoring. I can't do anything. But
shout out to Jake.
Shout out to Jake.
Jake for taking it down.
But the endless gift grade unclean one died to 1 fire dragon activation.
Oh, just the last tickle.
Yeah, with the 4-up field in like turn 5. So it was like whatever. But like the 4-up field no pain like whoa just melted. I can't remember. I had him like I think like 40 something damage. That's what's up. Make your saves, Jake.
Yeah. Just roll 4-ups.
Yeah. So we got a few games still left in round 4, but Anthony Alana is taking it right now with his Creations of Bile.
Yep.
Then we have our boy Fraser here in second. Nigel with his Custodies.
Nigel, fresh.
Is he playing Lions or what?
You can check
What's
right
he
there.
playing, David?
I believe he's playing Talons. He played Lions in the tournament. Shout out to Nigel who took down the last RTT.
Oh yeah.
He's playing Talons. The Emperor.
Yeah, Talon. He's been doing Talons for a long time. He's been on that for a while. He likes his reactive moves and stuff like that.
Simon.
Yeah, I took a loss to Simon's Eldar. Simon played it great. Simon, shout out to you, man. He was doing Seer Council actually, which basically they get their fate dice mechanic kind of back again. You roll your fate dice at the beginning of the whole game actually, and then each result on the die. So a 6 is a free use of this stratagem. A 5 is a free use of this stratagem. So they get a bunch of free strats, which are quite good. They have a pick up a unit and bring them back down, but it's in your movement phase, like your own movement phase, and you can pick them out of engagement range. So it's really hard to screen them because you have to very well screen because if I don't kill the fire dragons after charging them, he just picks them up, puts them elsewhere. What?
All right, I
All
right, I have no idea what Seer Council do.
Sorry, I had a For me, it was difficult to figure out how to screen them because when you think something is tied up, it's not tied up.
Gotcha.
That's what I was trying to say. I apologize.
There you go.
I just got excited.
There you go.
Just cut that. Just cut that out. We're good. Damn it.
Corey Burns with his orcs.
Yeah.
Is he still doing more DACA?
No, I don't think so.
There's no way he's still on.
Yeah, he's on
Well,
more
probably he hasn't lost since.
Oh, has Corey taken a loss?
DACA
No, he hasn't. Yeah, you're right.
So he's just stuck.
He's stuck on
stuck
DACA.
on it until he makes it up too far, and somebody's just gonna show him what new DACA's like.
Next is cast. There you go.
Yeah, that's okay. You have
but
4 wound
but
freaking.
we got a fair amount of the 4th round in. Yeah.
And then Colin with Eldari as well. And then now see this is the 2 other 3-0s. They're Jake and Gordon Sundman. So that's kind of the top table right now.
Right.
Who won between Tarek and?
They haven't played
They
yet.
haven't played yet.
They're playing right now. Is the
it's
score not on
Tarek
there?
and
Thomas.
Okay, Tarek,
Thomas.
we're recording right now.
Yeah, tell us who won.
And I'm playing. No, I talked to Tarek earlier, and he's got a pretty good game plan. So I'm curious to see how it
I
plays
think
out.
he's got a good matchup too with Deathwatch.
And then I play the winner.
What is it? It's Deathwatch versus
Solar
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 Spearhead
Spearhead.
Custodies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
With I think he was running like 3.
They do a lot of damage.
He was running 3 Caladius grab tanks.
Yeah,
I think, at
that
some
was
point.
he took out the Telemon
Yeah.
after it lived forever, then made a 13-inch charge in our game
Right.
somehow.
So his list is called Dread These Nuts. He got
Okay.
a Blade Champ, 1 Venerable, Contemptor, 1 Guard. Then he has, 3 Caladius Grab Tanks.
Crazy.
That's nuts.
Which Death Watch don't really care about that. They're a bunch of like little marine bodies. They're just running around. They're like, cool. You zorped 3 of my guys. Great. Good job. Interesting. That'll be an interesting matchup to watch. What are you guys snickering about over here?
Nothing.
All right. All right,
That's our
girlies.
3-1s or 4-0s.
Yeah, and for those who are local, if you haven't already, if you're part of the league and you haven't already joined up on the Discord, I highly suggest you do. Maybe we can drop a link to the Discord.
Yeah, we can do
Yeah,
that.
in the doobly-doo of this video. Lots of good shit talk happening. I do a quick recap of the round
That's
every
sweet,
round.
though.
It's been a lot of
Thank
fun.
you for emceeing that. Thank
I
you for
got
putting
you,
in the
man.
effort.
It's fun.
It makes a
That's
big
fun.
difference.
He does little interviews and then what they talk about the matchups and how it's all going. It's well done.
I just really like looking forward to everybody mentioning me as the matchup they don't want.
It does happen, man. A lot of the times, one of the questions,
Except for Jake.
except for Jake,
Shut up.
he's like, I got
I
this.
don't want to talk about it.
Jake called his shot and then he got there. So I mean, the last two I did interview was Gord and Tarek, and one of the things Tarek said was, this is true for probably lots of players. They're not so concerned about the faction necessarily. They're concerned about the player, and we have some very good players. So shout out Fraser, shout out Cass, shout out David. Actually,
Who?
Not Adam, though.
Tarek did.
Not Adam.
Oh.
Adam is light work.
Adam's nothing. He didn't get shout out.
Gas is shell shocked after pulling out a close dub against him at the last GT.
Oh, you did too. That's right. Yeah. Very good win.
Yeah. Easy.
The king is dead. Long live the king.
No way. I think we've all lost to him enough.
Oh yeah, I get pasted every time. It's fine. Sweet.
Yeah, especially you.
What? No. Oh my god.
Did you lose to Adam in that one?
Yeah, well, because I lost to Gordon because he got all of his big GSC squads back. So I had to play 3,200 points of melee GSC that fights
of dice.
That fights on death. Not even for dice. I don't know what the hell happened. But after the game, I stood at the table. I was like, "What the hell was that?" And then Adam from across the room saw that he paired down into me for his undefeated game instead of into Spike, and he's like, "Oh!" but he got me on that one. It was good.
Oh, and
He could just keep you away.
was that the last time you played World Leaders in a tournament?
Oh, I haven't really played.
Yeah, he rage quit after that.
He rage quit after that.
Since well, no, because I won the RTT with them. Calm down. But
He almost rage quit them after that.
But I haven't really played them much since Worlds. But this year I'm gonna make an effort to help with tickets, because like driving across like with Adam last year, like we're going across to like the Sask GT, and my truck broke down. And then we had to take like the tow truck back here.
Yeah,
and then we were going to take somebody's car, but it was uninsured. So we had to take a different car. And the car we took, like one light started like flashing on the way out of. So I was like, okay, man, like if we get there, it was like, and we get like, if we meet in the finals, like I'll let you in so you can have a golden ticket. And he's like, cool. And then we met in the semifinals. And I was like, I can't trust you to win your last game.
You must die.
And then we're playing Scorched Earth. And he went to like, I burned an objective, and then he took the secret mission to stand on 3 no man's land objectives.
And
then,
that's dangerous business.
Fumble.
That's like pulling that off in what's that supply drop? Just pretend that secret mission doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, I need to I need to win Saskatoon teams with them now, because I feel bad for not getting him a ticket.
Take him out there.
Then we're going to Kelowna, which has tickets after the Classic, which would be good. But it's
do they have tickets at the singles one here?
3 tickets.
It's first, second, third place.
Yeah, there's only
And
like
there's
No best overall.
And there's already a few tickets over there.
Is there no best overall? It's just first, second, third general.
Yeah, quite a few people over there have tickets.
Yeah, well, we're getting a hotel in like near downtown.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Oh, are you going too?
Yeah, I'm
Hey.
I'm staying at a family's place.
Top secret. Good stuff. That's awesome. Sweet.
Yeah, so we're going down there. It'll be good to see all the rest of the Western boys as well and have a good time. I think we're the farthest east that's going there, though. So that's sweet.
No, Sask boys heading out to Kelowna.
No, they're all waiting now that a lot of them dropped from from the Classic as well. Now that Edmonton's the thing, just because they're all like men with families, so they're using their travel credits
to do the one trip
on the Edmonton trip.
But anyway, I would assume the Classic would be an easier win than the Edmonton Open. It's hard to say because it's going to be like a huge, massive
just by volume, yes.
Yeah, right. But then
there's a lot of good players.
You're going to have better. You're going to play into better players sooner.
There's a lot of players coming from out east to Edmonton.
Oh, for sure.
I love playing
and
dudes
from down
out
south
east.
too.
Yeah,
I love playing Ontario players.
We've got a lot of big events coming up here, so very exciting.
Yep, it's a cool year for 40K.
Like a meta breakdown or something before going into Edmonton Open and stuff for everybody.
Well, especially once like lists are live, we can probably talk about our lists and like.
Let's do that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
If the timing works out well. We still don't have a players pack for Edmonton at all yet, so. No, I bugged Thomas about it today.
Okay, I'm sure it's gonna be out like
we're like a week out. It's fine. It's fine.
We could just
We'll
talk
love
about
you,
my
Thomas.
Yanari list for another episode.
The viewers don't.
Anyway,
care.
we'll see you guys later.
Cancel. Cut
It was
it,
cool.
cut it, cut it.
Yeah.
Guys, well, hey, please leave in the comments. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know if you guys want to see anything. Special faction focus. We'll try our best to get those faction experts on here to chat more about it. Why don't you send us away, Ben?
Thank you, Fraser. Thank you, David. Looking cute today.
Thank you, Ben.
Fuck?
Thank you, Cass, as always, locking it down over here on the seats with me.
What was that?
Thank you to everybody for watching. This has been Bloodbath Tactics. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Bloodbath Tactics. Peace out.